back to our physics class. Today we are going to discuss about refraction through a prism. Actually, refraction through a prism we already discussed in 10th standard. There we done the diagram also for that one. Now we have to study in detail. That is, we have to study the relation between how much the light will get deviated depending on the refractive index of the material and the angle of prism. So you might have already seen the prism. The prism looks like this. So for this prism we have three sides like this and here and there. So total 5 sides are there. So this is an equilateral prism. So equilateral prism means this, if you take this triangle, all the angles are 60 degree. Still, when we do any experiment using prism, we have to measure this angle, because even though we are telling it as 60 degree, there can be minor difference in that one. We are dealing with the optics, that is, we are dealing with the light which is having very small wavelength. So what happens is very minor difference also will change the values. So even though it is 60 degree, we have to take exactly what is the value of the angle of prism. So for such a prism, we will take one angle as the angle of prism. So this is a normal prism. For this one, we cannot identify which side. And if you take a good quality prism which we are using in the spectrometer and all, the one side will be rough. We have a grounded side for that one, so that it is easily we can find out which angle is the angle of prism. So for this one, let this angle be the angle of prism. So we have an angle of prism here, and this part that is opposite to this angle of prism, that is called as the base of the prism. So when the light is passing through this one, the light will get deviated, that you studied in 10th standard itself. So once more we will go to the diagram. Okay. So the prism is like this. So through this prism, when a ray of light is going, we will take the ray of light like this. So it is incident here. So it is going like this, and again here is another normal. From here it will get deviated like this. So this diagram already we done in 10th standard. So let this angle of prism be A. So we can take this triangle ABC as the prism, and this is the angle of incidence I. And again we can mark other things also. This is angle of emergence E. Okay, this same marking, same as what you studied in 10th standard. Okay, then this point we can take Q, N, R we can take, and the actual deviation if you want to take. What is the actual deviation? Here it is undergoing little bit deviation, and the remaining deviation is undergoing here. So if you want to get actually how much deviation is there, the method is you can draw a dotted line like this here, and this one also you can do a dotted line, and this delta, this is the actual angle of deviation, and this point I am taking as M, this meeting point. So in this one, this delta is the actual deviation of our light ray which is going like this. So this diagram is very important. So first you have to draw this diagram. Now we will think about the angle of refraction. Here this is angle of incidence, means inside this one, that is angle made with the ray and the normal. This is our angle of refraction R1, and you can retrace this way, so that time this will be R2. Okay, so I think the picture is clear for you. So you can see the picture from the textbook also. It looks the same one. Okay, so the light ray is going like this. Now we have to go for some geometry of this one. Now see here, if you take a quadrilateral like this A, Q, N, R like this quadrilateral, if you take once more, the quadrilateral is like this. So for this quadrilateral, here it is 90 degree. Here also it is 90 degree. As this side and this side, these 2 points are 90 degree. The total angle, if you take, you can see this is 90 and this is 90. So total will be 180. So the remaining angle, if you take this angle A plus this angle, that also should be 180. That is angle A plus angle, what is that, QNR, angle QNR, this is equal to 180 degree. The reason you know, because this angle A and this one and this, all the things together, it should become 360. So here already 90 and 90, 180 over, then remaining is this two only, so that two if you add, it should be 180 degree. So this is 180 degree. Now you think about this small triangle, this triangle. That is this Q QNR, this triangle QNR. If you take this triangle QNR, then all the angles if you add it should be 90 degree. All the angles if you add for a triangle should be 90 degree. So what are the angles? Here R1 is there, here R2 is there, and this QNR also. That is R1 plus R2 plus angle QNR is equal to 180 degree. So comparing these two equations, directly we can get R1 plus R2 is equal to angle A. Okay, angle of prism, angle A. Angle A is equal to R1 plus R2. So I think this thing is clear for you. So if you take this angle R1 and this angle R2, then this R1 plus R2 will be equal to angle A. Now we will think about the deviation. How much deviation happened here? This deviation, total deviation happened is this delta. So delta is the total deviation happened. How this deviation happens here? When the light is coming from here, here one deviation happens, and afterward the next deviation happens here. So here what is the deviation? This from this line, this point is the deviation here, and here also we have another deviation. Now we can add these two deviation to get the total deviation. So this deviation, how we can get? This angle is I, means this total also will be I, then this will be I minus R1. That is I minus R1. That is the deviation happening this side. Similarly, this side, here what will be the deviation? That point deviation can be taken as same way, E minus R2. So we have deviation here. So once more listen what is happening here. This here one deviation is there, and here another deviation is there. That two deviation makes this total this deviation. Like that you can calculate. Otherwise you simply take this triangle. If you take this triangle also, this exterior angle should be equal to the sum of these two angles. That way also you can take. In both cases you will get the same equation here. Okay, now from this one we can write delta deviation is equal to I plus E, you do this one, I plus E will come, and along with I plus E, what will come? R1 plus R2, that also will come. So that is I plus E minus R1 plus R2. Like this we can write this one. Or we can write delta is equal to I plus E minus A. Like this also we can write. So the deviation is given by I plus E minus A. So you just check here, you will get the same thing. Okay, you can rearrange this one, and R1 plus R2 is again angle A is there. So that's why I am writing angle A here again. So you will get like this. Now the next point what you have to remember is this: when the light is passing through this prism, it undergoes a deviation like this here, and the total deviation is given by this equation that will be discussed. Now if you change the angle of incidence, the angle of deviation also will change, and how the ray is passing inside the prism, that also will change. See here, the prism is like this, the light is going like this, then it is going like this. Okay, here you have angle I, E, everything in the triangle. Now what happens is, this deviation is not same always. For a particular value, the deviation will be minimum. So geometrically if you check, you can see the deviation will be minimum when this I is equal to E. When I and E are equal, you will get the minimum deviation. And one more condition, at that minimum deviation, this ray which is passing inside the prism, that will be parallel to the base for an equilateral prism. That is, when this line is parallel here, we will get the minimum deviation. So when you send light from this side to that side, or that side to this side, it works same only. But the minimum deviation happens when I is equal to R. So for minimum deviation, we write delta is equal to dm. Dm means minimum deviation. So when this minimum deviation happens, it is happening in a special case. After this minimum deviation, I is equal to E, or R1 is equal to R2. When R1 and R2 are equal, in that condition only this minimum deviation will. But here you see this equation, if you take this equation, R1 plus R2 is equal to A. Now R1 and R2 both are same. When R1 and R2 both are same, we can say it simply as R. So this will be R, this also will be R. So 2R is equal to A you will get, or R is equal to A by 2. So this is one important thing here. Okay, so you will get R is equal to A by 2. Similarly, if you take this equation, here you see delta is equal to I plus E minus A is there, and you can see in this particular case at minimum deviation what happens, this I and E will be same. So if you apply that one, what we can write here, for the particular situation at minimum deviation, we can write dm, that is angle of minimum deviation, is equal to, these two are same only, so it will be 2I minus A, or from this one you can write I is equal to, from here we can go for I is equal to A plus dm divided by 2. So we got one equation for I and one equation for R. So we got angle of incidence and angle of refraction, both we got. Now what we have to do is, when you have equation for angle of incidence and angle of refraction, we can use that to find the refractive index using Snell's law. So if you take Snell's law, what it says, n21, which is n2 by n1, that is given by sin I by sin R equal to sin I by sin R. So if you apply sin I by sin R here I and R is already given here. So n21 is given by sin I, that is sin I is A plus dm by 2 divided by sin of R, that is A by 2. So this is the most important equation. The refractive index of the prism is given by this equation, that is n21 is equal to sin A plus dm by 2 divided by sin A by 2. So this is the equation for refractive index of the prism, or this is the equation which connects the refractive index and the minimum deviation. So you have an experiment to find the minimum deviation of a prism. So by 10th standard you done the experiment to find the deviation to a prism by using the pin and all. This time what you have to do is, you have to change the value of our angle of incidence. You have to do it for different angle of incidence, starting from 30 degree, 35 degree, 40 degree, like that you have to check for different angle of incidence what is the angle of deviation you measure. When you measure that one, what you can see is, here I am taking angle of incidence, here you have the angle of deviation. Now already I told you there is something called as minimum deviation. So when angle of incidence is something like 30 and all, 30, 35 and all, you will get a particular angle of deviation. Then this angle of deviation will reduce. It will reduce like this and it will come to a minimum value, then again it will go up. So you will get a graph like this. So this point, corresponding this angle of incidence, you will get dm. So this point is called as dm. So you have to plot a graph for a particular prism, that is you have to draw this diagram for different angle of incidence, and for each angle of incidence, for example 30, 35, 40, 45 up to 60 you can do. Then you draw a graph like this, then you will get a curve like this. From this graph you find out what is the minimum deviation. So once if you get the minimum deviation and angle of prism for equal like this prism is, it will be 60 degree. So if you put the value of that one, sin A is 60 degree, dm you will get from the graph divided by 2, then whole thing divided by sin 60 by 2, that is sin 30 you will get. So if you do this calculation, you can find out what is the refractive index of the material. That is one method of doing. And even we have the hollow prism which is empty. So if you fill some liquid inside that one, and you can do the same experiment and you can find out what is the refractive index of the liquid also. So hollow prism I will show you later. So here one hole is there, you can fill whatever is there. If you want to put kerosene transparent liquid, okay, or any glycerin or whatever liquid is there, you can put the liquid inside then you do the same experiment, and what is the refractive index of that liquid we can find out. So this is the equation for refractive index of a prism, and you can, if you substitute the values, you will get the thing. But this is in the case of a normal prism, almost 60 degree. If the prism is very small, that is small angled prism, we will call it as wedge. Okay, they are just like one side is like this and another side is long. So like this small angled prism will be there. So for this small angled prism, we can approximate this one. This equation has n21 is equal to, the meaning is the angle of prism A will be very small. When A is very small, sin theta can be taken as theta itself. So we can write this equation as A plus dm divided by 2 or divided by A by 2. So you see here, this is applicable for small angle prism only. Okay, or dm for small angle prism you can write dm is equal to, on rearranging this one you can write n21 minus 1 into A. So this is applicable for small angled prism only. Okay, for small angled prism only this one. For all the prism up to here it is right for all the prism, and this is applicable only for small angled prism. So this is how the prism works. So all this from the first diagram onwards, once more you watch, and this derivation is very important. You study the complete derivation, how we are getting the equation for refractive index of a prism. So you can see here the refractive index you can get by obtaining the value of minimum deviation. So this minimum deviation will be a particular value for a particular prism if we are using a particular wavelength. For now you are going for white light, you will get almost same only, but if you use different colors and there will be minor difference in the refractive index. Normal with pin experiment we cannot get, but if you do the experiment using a spectrometer, this is an instrument which we can measure this deviation and all. Using a spectrometer, if you do, you can see that the deviation will be different for different colors. The refractive index also will be different for different colors. So due to that one, what will happen? If the refractive index is different for different colors, the deviation also will be different. So if you take a prism like this, and if you allow a ray of white light to pass like this, what will happen? The deviation is depending on the refractive index. The refractive index is different for different colors. What is the meaning of refractive index is different for different colors? When different color is passing through glass, the speed also is different. So one color will go fast and one color will go less. So you can see that when the color bends like this, the blue bends maximum and red bends is bending less. Okay, the violet is down. So you learn the Vibgyor, the violet will come here, red will come here. Okay, so different colors will bend like that. So violet is bending maximum means what is the meaning? The refractive index of violet is the maximum. Maximum refractive index is for violet. So refractive index is more for violet means violet moves slowly. Okay, inside the glass. The difference is minute only. Very minor difference only will be there, but still there is a difference. So due to this one, what happens? It will split into different colors. You can see the spectrum here. This is called as spectrum. Different color you will see. That is called as a spectrum. Now, this is called as dispersion. That is when a light is passing through a prism, it will split into its constituent or component colors. So that is called as dispersion. In 10th standard you studied it will split into 7 colors. It will split into 7 colors if it is sunlight. If it is not sunlight, if it is a combination of 2-3 colors means that much only it will split. So when light is passing through a prism, it will split into its component colors. How many colors it has, according to that one it will split. So I think the details about this prism, this calculation and dispersion also is clear. Dispersion means splitting up of light into its component colors. That is called as dispersion. Along with that one, you have to remember one experiment conducted by Newton's experiment in 10th standard. That also you should not forget. Like this, keeping 2 prism. If you keep another inverted prism here, then whatever color is splitting here, this color will recombine again. This will recombine, and here again you will get violet. So this one actually shows that white light contains 7 colors. if you have a single prism, what happens is the light is passing through the prism, it is splitting into 7 colors. But one doubt can be there, why it is splitting into 2 colors, whether these 7 colors are produced inside that one or the white light contains 7 colors. So such a confusion will come. In order to avoid the confusion, if you keep another prism again, you can see when you combine these 7 colors also, it is becoming white. So the meaning is white colors contains or white light contains 7 colors. So that is the importance of this experiment. So this experiment shows that white light contains 7 colors. So this is very important experiment. So this is what you have to study, and we have some application also this for this one. When the light is passing through a lens and all, the bending will be different. So we have something called as chromatic aberration and all. That we will discuss later. That is when the light is passing through a lens, all the colors will not focus to the same point. It will focus to different points, because the lens can be considered as a combination of different prisms. The lens is like this. So each, if you take it, this will act like different prism. So what happens? The color, all the color will not exactly focus to the same point, so that the image will be little bit blurred or little bit problem will be there for the image. That is called as the chromatic aberration. So dispersion, this experiment, entire thing, once go through this video once or twice, so that you will become perfect in this topic. Thank you.